Poland wants to fight. You know, they are so itching for a fight.
It seems like it.
They're like, did you guys just do something? And Zelensky's like, you guys should come over and be our friends. Oh, man. They are, well, the NATO chief said, look, they violated airspace, and the Pooter's been doing it more and more. He wants to press this thing, and we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting, but what have we been saying on the show? Poland feels like there's payback to give in a few places. And one of them is, as far as they're concerned, not the Russians, but the Soviets. So we'll see how that goes. How you feeling, Ken?
I feel like I have a fat barrel for a tongue and a bottom lip.
Yeah. For those of you guys who don't know, Ken got a new retainer today. So Ken got his, not wisdom tooth, you got a...
I got to get a crown on one of my lower molars.
How long did that take?
It took about an hour, the procedure. Then it took 30 minutes to wait.
30. Oh, did you get any? What they dope you up with?
I don't know.
Did you get any
but
NOS?
it worked.
Did you get any nitrous?
No, I didn't get any gas or anything like that. They just they gave me a very tasty Q-tip.
Yeah, that tastes like bubble gum, right?
Yeah. And then about 7 shots.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah.
I don't do, because you know they always joke about redheads. We don't do well under anesthesia,
Right.
at all. And when I had my tooth pulled, it just never numbed. I mean, he tried a whole bunch, and I just like, just yank it, dude, just old school. And it was just kind of, that was it. And he did, and he just started laughing. Because like, give me the NOS, see if that worked. That didn't work either. That NOS stuff doesn't work either, kids. Nitrous oxide. You know who you are. So I am excited. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. It's One Hit Wonder Wednesday. So we have Scott Sabicki coming on at 2 o'clock. Am I correct, young Bell?
Yes.
By the way, Bell has a song I've actually heard of today for One Hit Wonder Wednesday.
All right.
He actually has a song that I've heard, and many of you might have heard of it too. Mel, not all of you. I got to be honest. Sometimes I think you guys are hipper than you are. I mean, I know that probably sounds mean, but some of you are like, yeah, probably. When you guys didn't hear Pass the Doochie, I never even heard that song.
Pass the Doochie on the left front side.
This was a top 5 hit in the 80s.
It was. Mine is also from the 80s, and a little hint, my person had 2 one-hit wonders.
Wow.
One in a band, one not in a band.
Wow.
Because that happens. Who just died the other day? Was it Jeff Davis? Rick Davis?
Yeah, one of the founding members of Supertramp.
Goodbye, Dan. That guy. Oh, poor dude. He's lived a good life, though, right?
81. Lived to 81. I don't know about what quality of life he had, but he lived
I don't know if he
81.
was sick at the end, but not in Supertramp. I still see them every once in a while on one of those, on my TikTok, I'll run through like they're doing something. It's like the one guy that sings a lot of with his high-pitched voice. But that guy, I was like, man, you think 81? I remember as a kid growing up, like I remember how big they were in their album cover.
Yeah, the Waitress.
Yes.
Breakfast in America.
Breakfast in America. Didn't it have Twin Towers in it, right?
I believe so.
Which is tomorrow.
Yeah, the Waitress was holding up the Twin Towers.
Yeah, which is tomorrow, by the way, 9/11, the anniversary of.
Yeah.
Can you believe how long it's been? I was sitting there today because Belle and I were talking about like something else, like what else happened that day? And you can't even put it together because I don't remember anything outside of when the whole thing happened.
Right.
But, we'll talk about it more tomorrow, but it's just the whole thing is that day and that weekend and everything was just such a blur. But those moments are burned, certain moments in time, like where were you when?
Right.
And, those moments that are burned in your brain. And that's definitely one of them, for sure. So what are you doing, Belle? You look serious. Belle's foot, by the way, if you guys don't know, Belle broke his foot.
You did break it?
It's a hot mess. Dude, he showed me a picture. It is nasty. He also needs to clip his nails.
That is not true. I clipped my nails before I took the picture.
Excuse me, your hoof.
Brother Bilal, you need to get that foot looked
No,
at.
it does. It is swollen.
Ken,
it looks like he put a tennis ball in it.
Ken, don't be a mother hen. I'm rubbing dirt on it every day.
You need some Tessin. You need some Tessin. Need some of that Robitussin. Tell you what, right now.
Right.
Need some of that Tessin. So it hasn't been a good couple days for our diplomacy. We've had Russia go into Poland, and that thing yesterday, I'm telling you, people, what did we say, Bell? If you want to find out when BB's going to make a move, what do?
Check his trial schedule.
Because there was supposed to be some sort of preliminary thing yesterday. What about BB in Qatar for some stuff that may be, corruption? And lo and behold, they blew up the office. And the fact, I'm trying to figure out, do you think Trump knew?
I cannot see him taking that action without telling.
That's what I think too. Then if you're if you're Trump and you say, go ahead and do that, you are essentially okaying him bombing one of our allies, and not just our ally. We have 10,000 plus soldiers, give or take there, CENTCOM there, and he goes and does that?
And what did that video say? That there's over 100,000 American citizens living there?
Yeah, because all of the – so you've got the Gulf nations, right? So you've got UAE and Dubai, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia. Those are the big Gulf nations, and they buy billions of dollars from us, and in return, as Sagar said, we turn our blind eye to the fact that 9/11 happened and all this kind of stuff and all the atrocities that you've done over the years to your people, and you give us cheap oil, and we all move on with our lives. But you're buying billions of dollars of stuff from us, but also one thing in return is we kind of protect you. And to think that we would allow Bibi to, and we wouldn't warn Qatar about that is insane. And at the other side of it is if Bibi did it on his own, what if you're the president, you're like, he didn't respect you. He's zero respect for you. Zero. So I find it hard to think that there's a portion of me that says no way that they fly their jets over there and we didn't know. I mean, we knew, but by then it was too late. That we didn't scramble or do something. But, and it goes, what did we did with Iran? We sent them a thing saying we're ready to negotiate Witkoff. We're going to get this done. Iran's all fine. And then we bomb them a couple days later. And then this thing where he sends out his little 100-word thing, and then we bomb them and kill, some underlings and a cop and, but, and there, do you think we're going to negotiate now? No, but Bibi doesn't want to negotiate. That's never been his jam. It's never been his jam, and he's not going to. So I forgot they gave Trump a plane too. Maybe they're going to ask for that back. Hey, remember that thing we gave you? Yeah, we want that back. How would anybody trust us? I think that's a fair question. We got all these states that we protect, but we do a lot of business with, and these Gulf states, but also other places. And how are you going to buy anything we say? Think about this. Since the beginning of the October 7th, they bombed Syria, Israel. They bombed, obviously, Palestine. They've bombed Jordan, Yemen. They've bombed Iran. They've bombed Lebanon. And now Qatar. So they bombed 7 countries around them.
And they bombed Puerto Rico, too?
Yeah, not yet. They're going to get to Puerto Rico soon. So I just, if you don't think that the world's looking and going, how can we trust you guys? They're a super close ally. And nothing. I mean, they're more than pissed, and they have every right to be. No doubt about that. You bombed a sovereign nation. And then you said today, oh, yeah, now we're ready to have peace negotiations. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen because you never wanted that. That was never your goal. I'm interested about Poland, too. This is going to be interesting because Poland, we have talked about this. They want a fight. They're pissed. They're angry. They have built up, they have spent so much money on their military. A lot more. Like what is it? Like we ask everybody to spend, 2% of their GDP? They were spending like 4.5% at times. They're ready to roll. And I think they look over too and they think, yeah, if you guys want any of this, don't even think about it. But what happens too? I mean, you got NATO saying, they violated airspace. But everybody knows that unless, like, Poland could get into a scrape if they had to, but the Article 5 thing would be interesting. Do you think we're going to jump into this thing? I don't know. Ken, I forgot to tell you this story.
What is it?
So last night, or early, I haven't been asleep, really.
You haven't slept in 3 days.
It feels like it. So I get up, I was telling Belle. My son's text me. It's like midnight. I'm like, hey, Jack, what's up? What are you doing? He's like, I'm up studying. I said, that sucks. Because, it's 10 and you didn't do your stuff. He goes, yeah, leave me alone, Dad. I've had a tough day. Can you call me? So I call him. Bike life is over.
Bike life is over, huh?
So they were at a Taco Bell yesterday, and a cop hung a Yui, came back, and Jack's bike happened to be on the Taco Bell premises, so it was a private. They wouldn't take it. All of his other buddies, they put him on, they towed him away, put him on flatbeds.
And when you say bike, these are basically electric motorcycles.
They're electric motorbikes. They go like 40 miles an hour, 50, and it's California. And so he was so upset because he's like, he loves bike life.
So why did they take his bike?
Because it's California, all right? And if you want to have an electric bike, you have to have a bike where you can pedal.
Wow.
It's you can only go like 20 miles an hour because these kids get them and they go like 30 and then they soup them up.
Sure.
But,
we never would have done that.
No. And the one cop, Jack said, said, look, guys, if it was just me, I wouldn't. But this guy, he ain't going to let it go. And so they brought out flatbeds and put them on there, called the parents, and made the parents, gave them a ticket, and they have to do a certain thing because they're all 15 and 16. If they don't do the thing they're supposed to, they can suspend their license before they even get it. Like, that's all in the name of safety.
Wow.
All in the name of safety. And yet we live out here in the beautiful South, and what about that? You hear stories like, well, I was 12 and I was driving a car. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, isn't it like in the rural areas, right? Some of those places you can drive at like 14 or 15 in some rural areas. I don't know what it's like here. But
I'm sure it happens, definitely. Whether or not it's allowed, it happens.
Yeah. Farm vehicles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like we're going to be on tomorrow or Thursday.
That's right.
It's Friday. Man, I'm so excited. Oh, I hope it has backup noises because I don't want to make them myself. That's stupid.
Beep, beep, beep.
A lot of stuff to get to. We got more on this. We got some of your texts. We got One Hit Wonder Wednesday. And oh boy, Kylie, our girl, she is white and angry as ever today. We got some crazy white woman Wednesday. Reach out to us across social media, Rumble, Twitch, YouTube, X, Facebook. We're on all of those things. Check us out, like and subscribe. Make sure you hit the like button for us as well. I see you guys do that for Chris. We never asked for it, but we're going to ask for it today because Ken's mouth hurts, so that's always good. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997. Birch Gold right now. If you're a new buyer, it's precious metals and gold, and you buy before the end of this month, September 30th, first-time gold buyer, Birch is offering a rebate of up to $10,000 in free metals on qualifying purchases. $37 trillion in debt. Look at the rates. People are unsure about a lot of things going on. Tariffs, no tariffs, and close global instability. Gold is a smart place to be. And if you've never thought about gold, or maybe you've thought about it, get a free info kit. Have a conversation. It's that simple. Text the word Benson to 989898 today. Birch will get you out the kit. You look at it. They have everything from the physical to whether or not you have an IRA or a 401k. Maybe you'd like to move over, get it backed by gold. which is phenomenal as well. It's a great way to diversify and just protect yourself in the event that something may go sideways. Make the right decision for yourself, get the info, and find out if you qualify for the big rebate up to $10,000 when you buy by September 30th. Text Benson to 989898. That's the word Benson. Text it to 989898 today for Birch Gold.
Police in Los Angeles trying to answer questions related to human remains found in the front trunk of a Tesla at a tow yard. This story at more at 12:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's that guy, D4VD. Is it David?
David. Yeah, it goes by David.
Okay, because somebody already had DAVID. He just performed at Coachella.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's got some splaining to do.
I was going to say, I don't know if you're aware of this. That may be the last time he's going to be at Coachella.
Well, apparently he's got a fleet of cars, and a lot of people had access to him.
Well, yeah.
That's what I'd say.
You know what, Bell? That's exactly what I would say, too. 100%. Bell knows, guys, if you get in trouble and you're worried, am I going to be in serious trouble? Who could I turn to? You could go get a lawyer, or you could turn to Bell K.
Yeah.
Headless Bell will unleash some of his crazy, let me tell you how to get away around this.
I'm not free, but I'm a hell of a lot cheaper than a lawyer.
That's right. Especially if you can help him walk. It's that time of the day, kids. Every week we do it on a Wednesday. We have white women, in particular our friend Kylie here. She loves to tell all the things to all of us about how racist and horrible we are. Because we are. We all recognize that. Every one of us is. We've got work to do.
Well, you're white, so you're saying a lot of stuff that doesn't.
By default.
All you have to do is say, I'm white. And
our default setting is racism. And she is, because we do the work, kids, but she wants to make sure that everybody knows that if you voted for Trump, you get what you get.
If you are someone who has voted against human rights multiple times and something happens to you, you do not get to get on here and say, oh my God, where is your empathy? You gleefully voted other people's rights away, and now that there are consequences to those choices, you expect us to rally around you. This lady has been talking online, oh my God, like my fiance, he got deported, my boyfriend got deported. He's one of the good ones. Yeah, he's a white immigrant from Europe. This lady voted for Trump thinking that he was going to deport essentially the black and brown immigrants, and that her husband, for some weird reason, would be exempt from this. And now that he has been deported, she seriously expects the left and people who are members of these marginalized groups, like immigrants, black and brown people, and queer people, to rally around her, to have empathy for her. I don't know how many times I have to say this, but Trump does not care about you. His regime does not care about you. You do not get to have selective empathy for people that look like you and then scream, oh my God, help me, when something bad happens as a result of your choices. And I hope that your boyfriend leaves you, because you're clearly a very bad person who has no sympathy for his status as an immigrant. If you...
Oh, man.
Sweet girl.
She is. Well, the left is. And she is. So she has no sympathy. If your white immigrant husband got sent away. Now, I think the one she was talking about was the guy from, I think it was Denmark, who was actually been married, has kids here, went to, and he was checking in like he was supposed to, and I think they took him in, he was having his last hearing before he got to go become a citizen, and they didn't fill something out correctly, if I'm correct. And it was something that happened like 3 years ago. It was one of those, you didn't check the right box. That's it, kids. Paperwork's important. So they send him home. Get out of here. Get. Oh, my Lord. She is a sweet girl, though, isn't she? So sweet. Oh, we've got more of them, too. By the way, the racism is so spectacular with her.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I love is her disdain for everybody that's white is tremendous. I don't know how you do that. How do you wake up every day and you're that angry? I don't know. She feels like somebody who would definitely be on the boat with our friend Greta Thunberg.
No, she wouldn't. She's too much of a coward, dude.
Yeah.
She's just hiding out in social media land.
Yeah, she kind of is. She's a little bit. I mean, we got to do the work, guys. That's all we're saying. You know, we got all this stuff going on with North Carolina and this battle of, really it's battle of headlines and shock value at this point in time. And it's sad that it's become that way, but it's the reality of the new world that we live in. And I was arguing with my uncle last night. He's like, why isn't the media covering it? I'm like, well, first of all, the media covered it when the local media covered it for like 3 days, but there was no video. And what did we tell you? Video changes everything.
Yes, it does.
You remember when it was at Ray Rice, the football player? They suspended him for 2 games. Then the video came out where they saw him punch his wife and drag her across the parking lot in her hair. And he never played football again.
Yeah.
Video changes everything.
Yeah, without video, all this story is that a man is accused of stabbing to death a woman on a mass transit system in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. Nothing else.
With the video now, you see everything.
And it gives
the people around and all that.
Which I still have so much problem with the way that those people didn't do anything at all. Not even out of fear that they may be next.
Right.
If they even paid attention. That's the other thing, because I've seen it from several different angles. There are people that she got stabbed behind them. They were looking the other way because it's a train. You're pointing one direction.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at their phone. Train comes to a stop. They get up, walk off. Never knew what happened.
And they may be completely ignorant of the fact of what happened because of their headphones.
Yeah. I mean, it's
absolutely possible.
I walk home every day, as you guys know, and at least once a week I see somebody almost get hit by a car because they walk across in the naked roundabout and they're not looking.
Right.
It's crazy. All right, coming up, it's our favorite time of the week, One Hit Wonder Wednesday. There's been a lot of stuff on here. It's been hot today. I know Chris played the video a lot. We're going to have a little bit of fun. One Hit Wonder Wednesday. We got some good one that Bell's actually, we know it. We've heard it. It's not some weird, horrible, crappy soap actor from 1972 singing about his daughter or whatever.
74.
Whatever it was. And Ken, I'm sure, has a hairband that we'll actually
I do, man.
Fantastic.
I do. Some fella got his heart broke, boys.
Oh,
his heart is broken.
But we're going to hear it straight ahead. Chad Benson, Super Talk 997.
12:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 5 minutes. Police in Los Angeles trying to answer questions related to human remains found in the front trunk of a Tesla at a tow yard.
Investigators have not yet identified the victim whose remains were found inside the Tesla registered to the singer known as David. The LA County Medical Examiner says it has determined the highly decomposed remains belonged to a woman who had wavy black hair. She was wearing a tube top and black leggings, but they cannot determine a race or even an eye color. David performed in Minneapolis on Tuesday night. Police say how the woman died is not yet clear. Nobody has been arrested. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Sorry about that, Alex. ABC News' Pierre Thomas got a chance to go out with federal immigration enforcement agents in Chicago.
We suit up and head out with Marcos Charles of ISIS Enforcement Removal Unit. Agents conduct surveillance of a suspected gun trafficking location, and after about 90 minutes, ATF targets a vehicle that flees, arresting 2 men they believe are suspected gang members. Minutes later, we arrive at another location. There's been another arrest. Federal agents removing a baby girl from the home. ICE says the 3 men in handcuffs and shackles have been identified as undocumented and are being investigated for ties to the Tren de Aragua gang and for potential gun trafficking.
ICE calling it Operation Midway Blitz there in Chicago. And the popularity of 2 weight loss drugs leading to layoffs at the company that makes them.
9,000 employees at drug maker Novo Nordisk will soon be looking for work. The manufacturer announcing an 11% reduction in its worldwide workforce. The Ozempic and Wegovy maker says the layoffs will help it stay competitive in the competition over weight loss drugs.
Thanks for all you did. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hit it. Turned it on and off. My God, I fired. Contours wants to make you thinner. And by that, you don't have to go in and drink just water and have like a Tic Tac. No, they're going to get the weight melt off you. That's what they do at Contours. Non-invasive, incredible. You're going to lose 2 inches with their belly buster on your chest and your belly on your first go, or you pay nothing. Now, check this out. You go in there and you buy the belly buster package. They're going to give you an amazing, incredible thing for you to take. You can gift it to yourself or to somebody else. It's $1,500. It is a facial and a serious one. Not one of those ones you just go to a regular spa. This is an FDA-approved, absolutely amazing, incredible facial that you're going to get. You're going to change. You're going to look younger, like you couldn't believe. So thinner and younger. That's what they do. Amazing the way they treat you. Dan and I have done this. And if you want to, if you're just frustrated because you can't get rid of the little love handles and that stuff on your chest and you're doing everything, sometimes in life you just can't do that. So that's why you have Contours. Get rid of those inches. Do it with Contours now. Call 615-236-9960, 615-236-9960, or visit contoursllc.com to schedule. What have you got to lose but inches and wrinkles? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So every Wednesday, besides White Girl Wednesday, by the way, get a lot of texts. Everybody loves Kylie, the white girl.
Yeah.
Somebody said, oh, I bet she'd like one of those guys that's like a wimpy guy. And I said, no, she's one of those guys because I've seen her argue. If you don't challenge her, she doesn't want anything to do with you. She wants a dude. I know it. She's a little easy on the eyes, too. Crazy, but easy on the eyes. Come on, guys. We all know that. They're all crazy. It's just how crazy are they? Are they light your house on fire crazy? Like Lisa Left Eye Lopez? Do you remember her from TLC? And she was dating was Andre Rison. She got mad at him and burned his house down.
Wow.
And then she went to Guatemala and died.
She did. Don't go sink waterfalls. It's just how crazy are they? Speaking of crazy, we've had a lot of stuff. Chris had the video, Dan and them talking about it all day. It's been one of those days. We'll get back to it later. But we like to have fun too, right? This is life. And One Hit Wonder Wednesday. This is where we take a little bit of a deep dive into bands, artists. They get this lightning in the bottle, this one opportunity out of nowhere. It all clicks. It works. And they have a massive hit. And then as quick as they come, they disappear. Never to be heard from again, unless, of course, it's at a fair or somewhere where they come out and sing their one hit.
A fair.
8 times.
Yeah.
Now it's time for another edition of One Hit Wonder Wednesday.
All right, One Hit Wonder Wednesday today. All three of us have one hit for you, ready to rock and roll. We're going to give you a little backstory. Belle, we're going to start with you because we've actually heard of this one, and some of you might have heard of it. Not all of you, but some of you might have heard this.
This actually ended up on my radar well before it was released as a single. I bought the soundtrack it was from as an import in 1986, 84 actually, and it cost me $30 as an import. Which is, but for back then, was crazy money.
Yeah, for those of you who weren't record junkies like we were, if you got an import, I got a Smith's import and a Bauhaus, it was like my allowance forever.
Yeah, it was triple the cost of a regular album that was released in the U.S. But this is co-written by Benny and Bjorn from ABBA, which is why I was originally interested in it. And it was a number 3 hit that year on the American pop charts.
All right.
If I can actually hit the play button. That is Murray Head from the soundtrack to the play, originally on the West End of London, and then it came to the U.S. on Broadway, of Chess.
Oh, very nice. What did he ever do? And was he more of he feels like a theater guy.
He was in Jesus Christ Superstar. I think that's where Tim Rice, who co-wrote the play with, or co-wrote the album with Benny and Bjorn, originally found him.
Nice. Murray Head. It was like he came, he went. There was a lot of stuff. You had Murray Head. Who was the talking head that had the hit? It was also a TV show, and then he do commercials. I'm trying to think what that was called. Oh, goodness. I forgot that.
I'm totally
lost. It was in the 80s, though, and it was a head.
Oh, are you talking about Max Headroom?
Max Headroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like one of those. There was a lot of, heady things going on back then. That right there. Our good friend Bell and his. All right, Ken, what one-hit hair band wonder do we have today? I'm ready. Oh. Oh, I remember this. They had so much. You wonder how long it took them to get ready. Their hair was bigger than the girls. Well, they ran out of Aquanet because remember we were fixing the ozone layer. Because they were going bald. I bet you they got a skullets. They got skullets, baby. Oh, yeah, he totally does. And then Bret Michaels has that, and then Vince Neil he's just given up. Yeah, that's it. He comes on out. He waddles on out.
Yeah, he just, I think more than anything, he just can't give up the booze.
No.
And that, not only is the booze going to make you put on weight, but the bad decisions that come with it include eating garbage.
Oh. That was a good song. Living the dream, kids. Living the dream. Somebody says, Brother Ken, dropping the P word makes me uncomfy. That's the name of the band. You know what's interesting? So the P word in England, it means nothing. But if you say Fanny, that means what the P word. They freak out. Like, but they also have people named Fanny, which is weird. I don't get it.
So what's the name of this band, Josie and the Pussycats?
No, I love Josie and the Pussycats. I was going to do that one because they had one hit, but I'm like, can I really do Johnny, Are You Queer? She follows me on Insta.
Who?
Josie.
Oh.
She follows me on Insta.
You talking about the woman that voiced her?
No, the singer, the band, Josie and the Pussycats. Josie
From
Cotton.
the movie?
Josie Cotton, I mean. Yeah. It's not the movie, because there was a horrible movie, remember that?
Yeah.
But there was actually like a punk rock chick called Josie Cotton.
Oh, okay.
And she had like her Pussycats, and that's what it was called. All right, for me, this guy had not one but two one-hit wonder. And they were like, how could that be? You can't have two one-hit wonders. So he's born in the late 50s, gets into the punk scene, tries to join a couple bands, then Melody Maker, which was a huge thing back in the day. He goes, and this guy, Nick Taylor, Duran, he's putting a band together, and he's looking for somebody who's good-looking and could kind of sing. And they looked at this guy, Christopher Hamill, and they said, you're it. So they hire him. And he goes, well, I'm changing my name. And he changes his name. And the band was called like Art Nouveau. They changed that to Kajagoogoo. And so he has his one hit, and you guys might remember this one. Try a little harder. Move a little closer. Tell me, baby, tell me. Hush, hush, I do I. Hush, hush, I do I. So he goes, the band has a massive hit. It goes all over the world, becomes huge. While all that's happening, the band decides after their tour ends, we don't really like him anymore. He's become too big. And so they fire it. The manager fires him. The band's talking about it. The manager just goes, calls him, and fires him. Said it was the worst day ever. Broke his heart. Sitting around, he's got nothing to do. Gets a phone call. And it's Giorgio Moroder, who's like this big superstar producer that produces. He basically invented Blondie, and Donna Summer was his kind of invent. Like, this guy's a superstar. And he says, hey, I got to do a soundtrack song for a movie. And I want you to do it because I like the Tu Shadi Shy. And he said he started singing. It's awful because he's Italian and German. He says, sounds horrible. So he goes, oh, I'd love to do it, right? Because he's got nothing going on. He goes, there's going to be, it's going to be you singing in English, and there's going to be a French version. The English version is going to have a lady from America, but you're never going to meet her. And the German are going to have their own version. And it's for a movie called The Never Ending Story. That big white dog. I love this song. I just think of that big giant dog. Got the number 6 here in America. Oh. Me flying around on the dog. Woo! This song was massive, number 1 throughout Europe and everything, and he happened to have 2 hits, one on his own and one with Kajagoogoo. He said the Kajagoogoo thing really destroyed him, but this helped get him out of it. And the Neverending Story, they always talk about remaking the Neverending Story. I think they did a second one, but they always talk about re-updating it. But that big dog was so awesome. No, you need the big dog. Yeah. You do. Well, that's the problem with modern movies, right? Like they all want to say, all right, here's the deal. Batman, he's transsexual, and he's also in a wheelchair, and he's black, and he's two-spirit. And I'm thinking, no, that's real. That's not going to fly. You need the big fluffy dog. That's what you need. So one-hit wonder today. Mine was Lamal. Somebody said 2 one hits. He was in a band. And the band had a hit, and then he left because he got kicked out. Then he had a hit. That was his one hit. Because a lot of guys do that. I was watching that the other. Ken, I still speaking to little fellas. Did you see the guy for Rice, the football player who's 4'9"? He's running back. He's 140 pounds. And they're like, he's just a little fella. Oh, it's so spectacular. Yeah. He comes on for like one. They run around to this, and it looks like one of those Make-A-Wish things, where they give the kid a ball and they let him run through everybody so he can score a touchdown. Yeah, it looks like that. So One-Hit Wonder Wednesday. I was Lamal. Never-ending story. You were
Murray Head. One Night in Bangkok.
And Ken. Ooh, he said that word again. Ooh, he was so. You could hear the pain through there. I bet his girlfriend was named Nancy. She left him.
She left him, man.
She probably left him for somebody in Wasp.
His girlfriend's name was Sunset Strip Hooker.
She ran off with Blackie Lawless.
She did. Or she found Jesus and left with the dude from Stryper. Oh, Stryper. Hey, you guys want to go to concert night? They're going to sing hard metal about Jesus, and they're going to throw Bibles at us. No. Oh, coming up, we got more White Woman Wednesday. Let's have some more fun straight ahead for our good friend Kylie. He loves to tell us how horrible we are. We got a lot of good stuff straight ahead. Chad Ben Show, Super Talk 997. You know what? I'm being told the dog from the Neverending Story, it was Falcor. He would probably like Rough Greens because it's awesome. It's great for your dog, including Falcor, even if he can't fly because he wants to feel good. And Rough Greens delivers that over and over again. All these amazing, incredible things in a supplement that is going to help your dog, no matter if your dog's big and flies or just a regular-sized dog or just one of the little fellas like we have. This helps them with their energy levels, their aches and pains in their joints. It is awesome. They want to give you a Jumpstart trial bag at $20 value. All you have to do is cover the cost of shipping. And when you get it, you don't change a thing. You just add it to the food you already have been giving your dog. And if maybe they're not quite sure about it, just sprinkle a little water on there, mix it up, and watch what happens. You're going to see huge results. They're going to be healthier, happier, great for their heart, their energy level, their skin, their fur, their immune system. Try a Jumpstart trial bag of Rough Greens today. All it's costing you is just shipping a few bucks, and it's a $20 value. You get it for free. RUFFgreens.com/chat. Roughgreens.com/chat. All right, guys. You have issues with your back? Not anymore. Thank you very much for our friends at the Wellness Institute in Nashville. Go to painisbad.com, painisbad.com, or call 615-246-5009. Make your appointment date. The Big Daddy Trump special is going on right now. $12, comprehensive exam, x-rays if needed. They're going to explain the diagnosis. They're going to get up and running. Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley are incredible. So if you've got issues, let's just say you got some numbness in your fingers and hands, right? Your back, it's not a muscle. It's something else. Sciatica, right? Back, neck pain, maybe slipped and bulging discs, something like that. Yeah. And you don't want to have surgery. Let them get you up and running. Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, not only are they the most experienced, incredible people around, but when it comes to their technology, it's almost alien-like, and it is awesome. So if you thought, I can't have a pain-free life, you're wrong. It is possible. Call today, the Wellness Institute in Nashville, 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, or go to painisbad.com.
A body in a Tesla parked at a tow yard, and the producer price index out this morning showing an unexpected drop in prices. These stories and more 1 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
By the way, I've been told that it's not a dog, it's a dragon. I didn't know that.
Oh, I thought it was a big dog.
I did too, right? It looks
It's
like
a
a dog,
doggin.
acts like a dog, flies like a dragon.
It's a doggin.
It's a doggin. There we go.
Yeah.
Several people have. and
It's a
one-
drag.
Yeah, it was not a dog. It was a dragon, Chad. That's what I feel like you're texting. It's a dragon, Chad.
I took my legless dog for a drag.
Put him in a wagon. So the Wish Dragon. Okay, there he is. It's the Wish. It's the Wish Dragon. Just want to make sure. Speaking of wishes, she's back. White Woman Wednesday.
I am so tired of men, white men specifically, completely dismissing experiences because they haven't personally been through it. I made a video about how a lot of teachers are bullies and or racist to their fellow students, and this guy commented, "I've never seen this before. That can't possibly happen. This woman is lying." I work in inner city schools around a lot of white faculty with savior complexes who genuinely think that just because they are working in these schools around a lot of people of color, that they deserve to be worshipped and praised, and that they are doing everybody a service. And I would encourage you, if you've either experienced racism as a student or seen it happen in schools, or even if you've been a teacher and you've experienced it, please comment below, and here are some other articles to prove it. But this is your friendly reminder that just because you haven't personally seen something, maybe you've been blind to it because your own biases, it could have actually happened right in front of you. You could have seen racism and not processed it as such. Doesn't mean that it doesn't happen, because your experience is not everybody else's experience, especially as a white man working in schools. Ugh, so annoying, bro.
Yes, you are. You might want to turn your mic on there.
I have it on. She's a white woman talking about the white savior complex, and it's all men that are the only ones that. White women are the queens of the white. They're the ones who hijack all the stuff.
Like she's doing.
Exactly. Good goodness. I tell you what. Coming up, hour number 2 of the program. Talk a little bit about what happened in North Carolina and the fact that it's now not about what took place and the victim more than it is who gets to say, I'm right, I'm wrong, it's your fault, it's their fault, blame somebody. Bunch of other goodies to get to as well. More White Woman Wednesday. And of course, Scott Sapicki is going to be in here at the 2 o'clock hour. It's Chad Bench Show. Super Talk 997.
One o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Police in Los Angeles trying to answer questions related to human remains found in a Tesla registered to a popular singer who has 33 million monthly listeners on Spotify. Here's ABC's Alex Stone in Los Angeles.
Inside of the front trunk of a Tesla owned by the singer known as David, police found a highly decomposed body. The Tesla had been found abandoned on a Hollywood street and towed to an impound lot. The singer David is on a tour right now. He was in Minneapolis on Tuesday night. Because of the decomposition, the medical examiner has been unable to identify the body other than it being a woman with wavy black hair and tattoos. The medical examiner even unable to determine the woman's race and eye color. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
The producer price index out this morning showing an unexpected drop in prices at the wholesale level. The report put out by the Bureau of Labor Statistics says prices pulled back by 1%, rather 0.1% in August compared to July. Prices compared to a year ago were up 2.6%. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze says this comes ahead of a meeting next week of the Federal Reserve's Open Market Committee, now expected to cut interest rates.
This report really does keep the Fed on track to cut interest rates next week, largely expected to have the first interest rate cut in quite some time. So that would be welcome news for a lot of borrowers out there talking about credit card debt, auto loans. We already are seeing mortgage rates go down in anticipation of that.
NASA now says they've discovered signs of ancient microbial life on Mars. Here's ABC's Mike Dubusky.
The Perseverance Mars rover has been exploring the red planet for the last few years, and now, according to NASA, it's discovered a rock that contains possible signifiers of life. Transportation Secretary and Acting NASA Director Sean Duffy.
This very well could be the clearest sign of life that we've ever found on Mars.
NASA says the only way to confirm the findings is to return the sample to Earth. The Trump administration has recommended cutting the funding to the program that would handle that return mission. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Well, this year, both Meta and TikTok expanded their features aimed at keeping younger users safe on the internet. And now another social media company is following suit.
Snapchat calls its new online course The Keys, which platform safety head Jacqueline Boucher says is meant for teens to take alongside their parents.
We're looking to ignite critical thinking in teens' brains.
The 45-minute course presents hypothetical scenarios dealing with subjects like cyberbullying, nude images, and drug paraphernalia, offering tips on how to deal with that material if a teen encounters it online. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Scott Speaky's coming up in an hour. We're going to talk about several things. He's obviously running for re-election, and so I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about that. Also going to talk about football, but he went to Venezuela. He played baseball there. At least that's what Bell told me, and I heard that to be true. So, because we're getting ready to invade Venezuela, and so we need to know what's going on.
Well, and he also played for the Sounds here in town.
Yeah, so he's lived quite a nice life. But somebody said, don't bring up education because he won't shut up. So somebody By the way,
that is his pet project. Yes.
I said wish dragon. He's a luck dragon. Everybody keeps pointing out the never-ending story, the dog that's a dragon.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
And please take this in the spirit it's intended. He's not real.
He is real.
He's not real.
He's a little real.
I saw him.
I did too. He was on the TV and stuff.
Yeah. I'm looking at him right now. I'm looking at an image of him.
He's a big boy.
He is. He's a big fella.
He's a very big fella. He's fluffy. He's fluffy indeed. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but Russia did a little something where they kind of stepped over the line a little bit, and Poland got a little pushy back. And now the worry is, because Poland, we've been saying this, Poland, they're ready to throw down. I think we could be honest. They are. They feel like they got some unfinished business out there, and everybody's worried, are we going to get involved in something? I would assume, and we got Article 5, but I don't know how sold that Trump is to Article 5.
They're so angry they're ready to move the capital from Warsaw to St. Petersburg.
Yeah. Yeah. They're angry. I mean, they're about ready to, they're moving the border closer and closer. They're about ready to declare Ukraine part of Poland. That's what they're ready to do. I mean, it's so it'll be interesting to see what happens with this. I don't. But you know what? If I'm Putin, right? So let's say for a second, think about this. You're Putin. You have nothing right now to worry about. You're pushing the envelope. You're going to see what the Europeans are going to do. What's happening in France today, besides the fact that they've got their 28th prime minister in the last day? Wasn't there protests? There's all kinds of, riots or whatever going on because they're ungovernable. So you're not worried about them. Britain's a hot mess. They're a stinky mess right now. They can't even figure out what to do with themselves. You can't even fly a flag over there. And speaking of that, so you guys know who Banksy is, right? The artist? Banksy did a really cool, his thing on the wall.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it was basically the police coming down on top of one of a protester. And then they peered everywhere. They're thinking about charging him.
Oh, of course. Do they even know who he is? Did we ever figure that out?
We think we know who he is, but here's the thing. By charging him, you're going to have to bring him in, and you're going to have to unmask him. If you guys don't know, Banksy is this mystery. Kind of like Bell with no head. It would be like if we charged Bell with something and he had to go before the court. And they're not going to just say, Bell's going to have to, like a turtle, put his head out. So, but they're a mess, right? You're not really worried about Germany because Germany's already kind of figured this thing's going to take years. So I don't know what would happen. So if I'm the pooter, I'll push as much as I want all day. Push. Nobody's going to come after you. None.
We don't yet know whether these drones were carrying any explosives or not. We do know that they caused some damage. At least one home in eastern Poland was damaged when fragments of a drone fell on it.
So there's not a lot to worry about if you're him. And the other thing is you're also watching the U.S., which has the lead in this. You came out here. You didn't really give Trump anything. And the minute you were done, you flew back, then headed straight to China to hang out with Xi. Modi showed up. And then you're watching Bibi basically look at our president and our country and go, pfft, and bomb Qatar. An ally of ours, like a pal. Like a real this is a friend in an area where we're trying to have as many friends as possible because oil, stuff like that. And Bibi goes and does that. So there's a lot going on. And Why would you stop? Why would you? And the whole yesterday, and we touched on it with BB, did Trump know? Did he? Maybe he didn't. I'm not quite sure. Whatever it is, it looks weak. It does. Because Trump not knowing is a massive slap in the face. Trump knowing and not stopping them from doing this is a massive slap in the face. And BB's going to do what BB does. But, Trump yesterday, I saw him, he's like, well, I'm really angry. Well, what are you going to do about it? You're angry. What are you going to do? Do something. Tell him that's it. We're cutting you off. No more. Do something. Because this is ridiculous. The amount of money that we're pouring into them. And by the way, their far right is saying that they need to decouple from us. So that way they can have a free roam to do whatever they want. Well, knock yourself out. That's not going to hurt my feelings. I don't want to be a party of what you're doing. And the fact that you are trying to drag as many countries into this thing, Syria, it doesn't matter where it is. Yemen, Lebanon, Iran, Jordan, Qatar, Palestine. You're bombing everywhere. Since October 7th, there's been 7 countries. So, yeah, you know what? I'd rather keep our money here and build insane. Can you call them insane asylums? Is that wrong?
Mental health institutions.
Is that what they are?
Yeah. Sanitariums.
See, that sounds, well, I mean, what do you think, Ken? You can't call them insane asylums, can you? That's politically incorrect. My bad.
Well, always go back to Sling Blade. It's a nervous hospital.
Box of Fruit Loops.
Mister.
Don't you touch that boy again, mister.
I'm going to kill you. Mister. Yeah,
never so happy as to see Dwight Yoakam take a lawnmower blade to the head.
Oh, God, that was so great. What was it? It was, what was the name of the Sling Blade? It was
Sling Blade.
Yeah. That's what
he was Doyle Hargraves.
He was.
He was going to be a rock and roll star.
Rock and roll. That's right.
He played cards with Police Chief J.D. Shellnut.
J.D. Shellnut. Somebody said, who's Bibi? That's Bibi Netanyahu. That's the ruler of Israel. And the families.
What's his actual he's prime minister, right?
Yeah, he's prime minister.
Okay.
Leads the Lahoud party. And for those of you who think Bibi's really popular, he's not. In fact, I don't think he's gotten over 30% of the vote ever because they have so many parties over there. So it's a plurality. That's why he's always having to build a government. But the families of the hostages are pissed. They're angry. Trump sends over 100, word like give up the hostages and be nice and we'll have a conversation and we'll have a ceasefire and I promise within 60 days we'll get you, we'll get this thing handled. And then they go and bomb. It's the same thing they did with Iran. And it is, I don't want to be a party to somebody. First of all, you're taking our money hand over fist. You're threatening our politicians. You're coming after me, AIPAC. And we know who you are. Because why do they do that, guys? Because we burn the bagels.
That's my favorite saying on this show.
Yeah, it is. If you guys don't know that, we said that. They're at the point now. It's like if you're anti-Semite if you burn bagels. Hey, this bagel wasn't it was a little burnt. Oh, it's because you hate the Jews.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering what you guys were talking
It's like, you know what? I'm not a bagel fan. I'd like a donut. Oh, because you're an anti-Semite? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, burning the bagels is code for anti-Semitism.
Yeah, because that's what happens all the time. And it is frustrating. And they've by the way, they've even run out. Like the argument is, well, you're going to let the terrorists win? They're going in soon, too. If you guys aren't paying attention, they dropped leaflets yesterday in the last 2 days and said, get out of there. And the people are like, and where are they going to go? Where? Where are they going to go? Because Greta's boat isn't big enough to handle them. It's her boat.
And she caught that on fire anyway.
She did. You know what? It's fun. There's a perfect example. Somebody said it was a flare, then somebody said it was a cigarette, but I saw something come down, and that didn't look like a flare. But it wasn't big. And you know Trump's like, BB, you can't. No, you can't. Just don't. You can't kill her because then we're going to hear about it forever and ever and ever. Oh, my goodness. A lot of your texts coming in. No, open up the nut house. Call them Arkham Asylum. That's a Batman thing, right? Arkham Asylum? Okay, you would know that because you're a nerd. You're a nerd. You don't get the bagels joke. Okay, so the bagels joke is, since I am one of these people that look over there and while Hamas is evil and bad and nobody's ever said they're anything other than that, the reality is those are humans. These young kids, these women, starving them, genocide, that's a legal term, but the ethnic cleansing and the moving and what they're doing right now, that is awful. And I don't want to be a part of that at all. And I don't think Jesus would say that's a good thing. Yeah, that's it. So once I started saying I'm not a fan of that, and I was a big supporter. First of all, I'm Jewish, for those of you guys don't know. Ooh, what was that? Was that you going, how?
Sorry about that, boys. I saw something.
What was it?
I'm looking at a football play.
Oh, okay. Was it a midget? Was it a little guy?
No.
Little guy.
No.
But so ever since I've pushed back, because I think they have way too much power. They run a vast majority of our politicians here are absolutely sold out to them. They should be registered as a foreign, lobbyist group, and they're not. AIPAC. They have way too much, and they do whatever they want. And so I'd had enough of it. You know, if you want America first, this is what it looks like. Doesn't mean we don't support our allies when need be, but we don't pay for them forever. We don't let them pick fights in the whole world and drag us into crap. Let's not forget, one of the big reasons we got into Iraq was this was going to fix everything. Well, it didn't, said Bibi. Well, once we get him gone, this will be great. So once I started criticizing, even a little bit, and this has nothing to do with the Jews, and it has nothing to do with the state of Israel. It has all to do with Bibi and Smotrich and Ben-Gurion and all of those people who they want and have always wanted this. And the minute I started criticizing, everything became anti-Semitic. I said, hello, anti-Semitic. Said you go into a place and you're like, you know what? I had a bagel, but you guys kind of burned it. You hate the Jews. Because that's the only thing they can go to. Because you can't have a conversation. And I won't do it. And if Trump, you say you're upset, then do something about it. Do something about it. The amount of money we pour into them. The fact is, they're supposed to be a great ally to ours. They are the worst of the worst when it comes to spying on our nation, if you guys don't know that. Watch any CIA agent talk about them, and they'll tell you, oh, yeah, they spy like there's no tomorrow. They're the worst. They are.
Wasn't there a FBI agent in the 80s that went to prison for spying for them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He just got out a few years ago. He was just taking stuff over and handing it to him. But there was a thing a few years ago where, so you have a situation where if you're at the embassy, you're probably going to have one Mossad agent, a Shin Bet agent, one of those things, and you report them. Everybody's got them. CIA has field agents all over. You report them. They said they had 2. Come to find out, they had 187. That's more than 2. So, yeah, I have a problem with the way that they've acted. This government in particular. And they're going to do stuff, and they're doing it in our name and with our blessing. And I don't think many of you want that either. At all. All right, coming up, White Woman Wednesday. Oh, we got more of her. You guys love her. She is spectacular. This time, we're going to talk about if you are a white person, you're probably racist, which you already know, and there's no way you could ever have a black friend. It's about to get real, people. Chad Bench Show, Super Talk 997. WebRoot. WebRoot. Let me tell you something. To have your identity stolen is a nightmare. On average, just to get some stuff sorted out, it takes 200 days. Your name's floating around on there, and that's just if it's stolen by one person. Yeah, no, you don't want that. WebRoot's here to protect you in amazing ways. TransUnion just had 4 million people had their stuff taken because the third-party security company didn't do the right thing. And like that, it's on the dark web, and you need to protect yourself. WebRoot delivers that. They're incredible. I got it for my entire family, including my mom, because she's kind of a little bit like, she still freaks out at the ATM machine, so she could easily be taken advantage of. That's why we got it for the whole family. They've got different programs, one identity up to 5 devices, and for your family up to 10 devices and 10 people. Elderly parents, perfect to stop predators who are looking to steal your money, steal your identity, and get at your kids. Real-time protection against malware, ransomware, phishing, and coverage when it comes to protecting your identity of up to $1 million. And the advanced dark web monitoring is amazing. So that's what I want you to do. Protect yourself, protect your family with WebRoot. When you're online, it's dangerous. And if you don't have the right protection, at some point, it's not if, but when. Let's make sure when never comes. Get 50% off WebRoot, Total Protection or WebRoot Essentials. But go to WebRoot.com/Chad. Remember, this offer's only available at WebRoot.com/Chad, WebRoot.com/Chad. Live a better digital life with WebRoot.
The top Senate Democrat trying to get his chamber to act on the Epstein files. We'll tell you how. Coming up at 1:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
White Woman Wednesday. Every Wednesday, we have our friend Kylie, who, thank God, every single day she's posting 1,000 things. And what happens on White Woman Wednesday? First of all, for those of you guys who don't know, white women, they're amazing, right? They love, especially progressive white women. Not liberal, but progressive white women. And Kylie leads the charge. And thanks to her, Ken and I, if we've really improved, because we put in the work. Belle doesn't. Belle's like, I'm fine being a racist. I'm like, okay, Belle, you live your life that way. That's why your foot hurts.
No, racists do not have a black friend. Someone who grew up in conservative areas in California around a lot of white racists, I can tell you with confidence that there are 3 main reasons that people will say this. Number 1, they're just straight up lying. They haven't talked to a black person for more than 10 minutes since elementary school. Number 2, social credit. White people will actually have an acquaintance who is a black friend or a person of color, but the issue with this is that they are tokenizing this friend. 75% of white Americans do not have a close friend of color. So in white social circles, having a friend who comes from a different culture may be seen as a status symbol or like you're bringing in something exotic. And reason number 3 is the most intricate of all. Many white people who consider themselves friends of people of color are not capable of this friendship, because to be somebody's friend, you have to consider them as equal to yourself, which racists inherently do not subscribe to this ideology. They think of themselves as superior to other races. And that's why I'm making my content, because white people might not even realize that they have these biases. So to other white people out there, do better. If you want friends, see them for the core of who they are rather than their skin color.
Which, of course, you know, she doesn't see color. And you guys, you have no black friends. Nobody has black friends. And if you are white and you have a black friend, it's just because it's a token. That's it. Do you think she has black friends?
I highly doubt it.
You know why? Because they're like, all she does is whine.
Yes.
That's all she does. She can't stop. She's always talking about how oppressed we are. I just want to hang out, have some fun, do some dancing, get a little dinner. But she's got to talk about our oppression. Ugh. You know, and did you ever see the movie Boomerang with Eddie Murphy?
No.
That was great. Martin Lawrence, Eddie Murphy. Martin was on like this kick. They're like super high-powered businessmen. And they go to a restaurant, and she offers him asparagus spears or something.
Yeah.
And she's all, she offered me that because I'm black. And he's like, no, that's what they're called. No, it's only because I'm black. That's the thing that happens with her. That's the thing that happens with her. You can't, doesn't matter what happens in her life.
Somebody should, like, tie her up and make her watch All in the Family, Sanford and Son, and the Jeffersons.
Oh, All in the Family.
Just back to back to back.
She would explode with Meathead. I mean, the Jeffersons, when George was worried that the baby could be white, she couldn't handle that. There's no way she could handle that. It's impossible.
Things used to be really funny.
They did. Because, you know why? Because, not that there wasn't tension, because there is tension.
Sure, there was. And that's what those shows
were about. They were pointing out all that stuff. You know, I mean, and you forget, too, he didn't like, Archie Bunker, he didn't like the Italians either.
No, he
called them the Wops, right?
Yes, he did. Well, and Fred Sanford, he didn't like Julio. He didn't like Puerto Ricans.
Oh, yeah, Puerto Ricans. Oh, yeah, and not only that, you got to watch Chico and the Man.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Let's not forget that. Chico and the Man. What a great show that was. Freddie Prinze. Now he's got a son, Freddie Prinze Jr. He's all grown up. Married Sarah Michelle Gellar. Is that the girl? Buffy, the original? Oh, the TV actress Buffy. Coming up, a lot of stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about what happened in North Carolina. More on Israel, Epstein. We're trying to squeeze a whole bunch of stuff on. Scott Sabicki's going to come on here at 2 o'clock. We're going to discuss, I don't know, we're going to find out how many jumping jacks he can do. Some baseball stuff, too, because I think he'd been down to Venezuela. And Venezuela, by the way, we're going to talk a bit about that. There's some issues, and I think it's about to get spicy there as well. If you're missing the show, share when you grab the podcast. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997.
1:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. ABC's Jay O'Brien's on Capitol Hill today, says the top Senate Democrats trying to get his chamber to act on the Epstein files.
Minority Leader Chuck Schumer just did this rare, unexpected, and rather complex procedural move to try to attach an amendment that would compel the Justice Department to release all Epstein files it has from its prosecutions of him and Ghislaine Maxwell. it would compel the release of those files. And Schumer is trying to attach it to this must-pass defense bill. It's called the National Defense Authorization Act.
A new look today at the economy with the release of the latest producer price index from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The PPI, which measures prices at the wholesale level, dropped 0.1% last month compared to the month before. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze taking a look at the numbers.
This is better than expected when you're thinking about inflation, especially those wholesale prices. So this is what businesses pay for products before they then sell them to you. And we look at that really closely because it kind of says what's in the pipeline. If those prices are going up, might mean that prices for consumers are going up too. So a drop is welcome news when you're thinking about the outlook for prices that we might all pay. 0.1%, the expectation had been an increase of 0.3%.
Consumer Price Index, which tracks prices that you pay, is due out tomorrow morning. NASA says a sample found by the Perseverance rover on Mars shows potential signs of microscopic life billions of years ago. Here's Sean Duffy, acting NASA administrator.
A year ago, we found a sample, and it was, again, we're exploring in places where there were rivers and where there were lakes. And much as on Earth, we think that that's where we'd see signs of ancient life on Mars. We put it out to our scientific friends to pressure test it, to analyze it. They've come back and they said, listen, we can't find another explanation. So this very well could be the clearest sign of life that we've ever found on Mars.
Yeah, this sample contains unique, colorful speckles that scientists have nicknamed poppy seeds and leopard spots. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Busy Bee, best prices of the year, event. Savings, buzzing, zzz, all kinds of stuff going on at Busy Bee. And there's some amazing things, okay? And I'm telling you guys, first of all, for your neighbor, both of you get $50 credit when you schedule an HVAC maintenance. Top of that, National Grandparents Day, they're going to celebrate it all month long. So check this out. You're a Beehive member. You can gift a free Beehive membership to one set of grandparents. Make sure it's your favorite one. Gives you the best gift. Need a new HVAC? Get a free 5-year labor warranty with every purchase. Great deals on plumbing, $500 off drain repipes, tank to tankless water heaters, $300 off there, $1,500 off water filtration system. But here's the big one. This is any HVAC repair that you schedule maintenance with, right? So they come out there, you're going to get a free dryer vent cleaning. Free. Free's amazing. It is an awesome way to protect your home, and you're going to breathe easier on them. Take advantage of that while you can. Call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, 775-7833, 775-7833, or visit them online at busybeehvac.com. We were talking earlier about one-hit wonders. I think there's a new AI kind of, it's just for music. And it's taking away market share from Spotify. Check this out, guys. You give it some of the music you like, it then replicates that music in its own way specifically for you. So not the band itself, but stuff that sounds like that band. It's personalized music is what everybody's doing. And it's crazy. But it's coming fast. I mean, we're just talking about, is it Ozempic, the people who do Ozempic or that are laying off people? Well, I mean, part of that's going to be because of AI. Just because, like, and this is where, like, when we talk about the Main Street and Wall Street are two separate things. Trump and everybody celebrate Wall Street. Yeah, that's great. If you got a 401k, that's great. But if you're not living off your 401k now, Main Street and Wall Street are further apart. They're willing to throw tons of money, quantitative easing, stuff like that, at Wall Street to prop it up to make sure it's still there. You've got tons of stuff that's completely, crazily overpriced. Stuff that we would look back and go, you're trading at 75 times earnings? That seems a bit much. But Wall Street and Main Street are further apart than they've been in a long time. And that is, most people live in the Main Street world. Most people do. Epstein didn't. I'll tell you that right now. So what's going on there? Nothing. I have seen the book, by the way. I have seen the book. And when I hear people say, that's not his signature. Yeah, I think it is. We were joking earlier. So like 15 years ago, they did a book. And then somebody goes, I'll fool, and I'll put this in there, and we'll get Trump when he's president, even though he's not said he's running for president one day. No, I think it is his signature. And people say, well, that's not his signature now. But then prior to him becoming president, that was his signature for everything. And even during that. And it's funny when I saw Burchett out there, that's not his signature. They showed something that Trump had sent him that he had posted with that exact same signature over and over again, all of these guys. Because they want this to go away. I get it. It's a pain in the butt. I get it. But we can't say we care about crime and we care about this, and we've got a situation where there were God knows how many hundreds of young girls who were used and abused, potentially by us and maybe other agencies, and not think that's important. Because it is. And if this stuff happened to be some of our allies that were using these things, could they still potentially be using them against certain people? There is a reason that many of these big banks paid out huge, vast amounts of money. Because they knew this guy was doing bad, but he was making them money. And they just kind of turned a blind eye and thought, well, we'd rather pay out this because he's done enough of that. So it was worth the risk.
He can either flip now, in this case, one more of his Republican colleagues because of that special election in Virginia, or he could just wait until the end of the month when there's a special election in Arizona, too. And a Democrat is likely to pick up that seat as well. That district trends heavily Democrat, as that Virginia district does. And so if you have those two Democrats joining Congress by the end of the month and they sign on to that Epstein discharge petition, it would guarantee that Thomas Massey's initiative would also get a vote.
And that will be interesting to see. This is one of the things yesterday we talked to Jody Barrett, about what would happen. You got to look at it. And first of all, remember, this was kept alive by a lot of the Trump people. Secondly, we have the victims right there. And that means somebody just texted and said, I'm tired of everybody crying about it. It's not a crying about it. Do you think dirty old men who think they can get away with anything they want to get away with don't do it? Well, I just did it that once and I never did it again. It's like people who drunk drive. It's probably not the first time that you drunk and you had a few drinks and you drove. But I think people have a right to know. Transparency. You want people to believe and have trust. You know, we talk about that with Maha and like, let's get all of the data and everything. Good, let's do it. Because the more transparency, the better it is for everybody. And this isn't going anywhere. And this is going to be a drag on him more and more. And I have a feeling at some point in time, like I say, you get a win here, a win there. Next thing you know, Massey, his thing gets through. And it's a birthday card. People are freaking out about that. By the way, the rest of the book is bizarre and nasty and gross, and it's awful. It is just pictures drawn by little kids. There's a picture of a young girl in like a bikini. What the hell is that? So, yeah, I think it's a fair question. And stop lying to me. Oh, it's never me. I've never once said I thought Trump did anything. But I think the denial is making people ask certain questions further than they would. And like anything, when you tell somebody not to look, they're going to look. Because that's what happens. We rubberneck on the streets and we rubberneck in life. Meanwhile, the insanity of what took place in North Carolina. It was awful. We were just talking about it earlier today. The video is horrific. Chris played it on several occasions. I won't do that. I've seen it. I saw it a few days ago. I didn't. It's a tough thing to see. So you have a lovely young woman and a demented individual that should be nowhere near other human beings. And, you know, a lot of these states, you don't have to have a law license. You don't even have to be a lawyer. This lady Judge Stokes went to law school, but I don't even know if she took the bar. A lot of people will go to law school and never take the bar. You know who did that? Kim Kardashian. And so you don't have to. You're not voted in. By the way, you don't have to have a law degree or be a lawyer or have ever been a judge or even be a citizen of the United States to be on our Supreme Court. Did you guys know that? There was somebody in the 40s who didn't even graduate high school, but he went and he learned the law himself. So there's a lot of, these rules are weird, but this was a horrific incident. But what now people are talking about is right versus left, black versus white. And the left is trying to play it off like, you guys are making this all about race. It's all you're making this is about race. And you didn't cover it, but you didn't cover it until you were forced to. Well, nobody saw the video. Nobody covered it for a while because until the video came out, what did you say, Ken? It was just a stabbing on a train.
If there's no video and you know all you've got is a police report, that's all it is. It's, just a woman on a commuter train in Charlotte, North Carolina, was suddenly stabbed multiple times by a passenger who was seated behind her. And that's all it is.
That's all it is. But the video changed everything. Because once you saw the video, you're like, okay, this is different. And you could tell he's mentally ill. I think he said he swallowed something in prison, which gave his sister control of him. And then this girl, Irina, she took control of him. And he said yesterday, she still has control of him.
So it's her fault he stabbed somebody?
No, it's the fact that he's mentally unstable.
Yeah, and he's been arrested 14 times.
14 times. When he went in front of the judge last time, I mean, there's no doubt he's schizophrenic. His mother had to get a protection order because he was too dangerous. The question is, what do we do with these people? This has been there forever and a day. What do we do with people who we don't have a place for them? We don't. We don't have a place that we used to have in the 50s and 60s right? What's the place in New York? Is it Bellevue? You know, always talk about that. Or,
Yeah.
you know, we don't have the, what did you call it? Sanitariums, asylums, spas, whatever you want to call them. We don't have a place for people that are mentally that unstable. And usually they just end up in the system. They get released back and forth, and they're in and out until eventually they do something heinous, which is awful. And we need to figure out what we're going to do with them. How about we stop spending money all over the world and start building areas and places where we can put these people? I don't know what came first, the mental illness or the drugs. Probably a little bit of both. You know, some people trying to cope with certain things. But seeing people live on the streets in the fringes of society that everybody loses eventually because, you know, nobody's paying attention until they do something horrific, that is not a way to live. I mean, I walk in and at the roundabout, as somebody put it, there's several people out there that are homeless. I see them every day. There's a couple of them. They got a look in their eye. I'm not going to lie to you. They do. You don't even know what's going through their head. And they shouldn't be on the streets, sleeping on a bench, urinating in the park. That is not a life for a human being. That is not dignity. But this thing became less about that and more about right versus left. And the Dems are, yeah. No cash bail is ridiculous. Do I think cash bail, you have to go and if somebody's in jail over stupid parking tickets or they didn't get a license for their dog or something stupid like that, they should have a $25,000 cash bail? No. At the same time, we can't release people everywhere all the time. The biggest, and I don't think people, you know, the number one facility in America for the unwell, the insane, whatever you want to call it, Twin Towers in Los Angeles, the jail. That's the number one place. And they have, they just keep you there. That's it. They're just guarding you from other people because you're dangerous, you're violent, you've killed, you don't even know what you're doing. We need to have a serious conversation, but we waste money on so many other things, and people are more interested in the battle than having a real conversation. And we get that more and more. I like fixes, but I recognize in the world of politics, that's not where people want to be if you're in the world of politics. Because raising money, having the argument, those things matter more than whether or not you got something done, which is frustrating for all of us. All right, coming up, a little more White Woman Wednesday. See how mad she is at us for whatever. This time it's about Belle. So our friend Kylie, she'll join the program.
I don't like her.
Well, Belle, she told me, and I quote, your long hair represents the hatred of many of people that you hate for hating of the oppression of the patriarchy.
I hate that she hates that she thinks I hate, but, you know, what are you going to do?
Patriarchy. That's all I got to say. Patriarchy! Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Prize Picks, you're going up to 2,000 times your money. It is simple, easy, and fun. This is not about picking teams, lines. This is about more or less. It is so easy to do. You've got all that sports knowledge in your brain. So when I talk about more or less, I'm talking about, do you think Travis Kelce is going to get more than a half a yard receiving? That's one of their max discounts. That's how you set a lineup. You get two or more, up to 6. You choose in your lineup. So that's a free one right there for the most part. It's that simple. Do you think Lamar Jackson's going to have more than 50 yards rushing? Throw more than 1.5 touchdowns? That's how this works. And Prize Pick is incredible. It is so easy to do because, you know, you sit around, come on, guys and gals, we have sports knowledge. We can tell you all kinds of things about it. And this is the same thing. And right now, here's the thing. When you use my code CHAD, so you download the Prize Picks app, use my code CHAD, You get $50 in lineups immediately after you play your first $5 lineup. So go download the app now. Use code Chad to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Pick. It's good to be right. Must be 21 in Tennessee. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
We are monitoring social media reports suggesting that Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk has been shot at a speaking event at Utah Valley University. We'll get you what we know coming up at 2 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
My buddy just sent me something. He's on it. Apparently, he was shot in the neck.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing too, but I'm not seeing that confirmed.
No, it's several people are, and
clearly a violent right winger.
I'm looking at. Oh yeah, he got shot. There's a lot of people there. I don't know where it happened. I'm looking at the video right now, but he got shot in the neck, and it was one of those ones where I think you show up and you go to these things and you try to, I guess, change his mind or one of those things. So it is a horrible situation. Say your prayers for Charlie. Met Charlie a couple times. I know Chris is pretty close with him, having worked for Turning Point for quite a while. And the video I'm seeing, it doesn't seem to be, it seems like he's just talking on the microphone, and I don't see somebody come up with something. And the people that are taking this video are taking it from a decent ways away, and they look to the almost behind them. So I don't know if it was close or not, but we're monitoring that. Again, if you're just joining, Charlie Kirk shot in the neck at a event in Utah, and people are crazy and angry and hateful, and you ask yourself, what the hell are you guys doing? Like, what is this about? You can have a disagreement with somebody without being so angry as to shoot him. This wasn't one of those. This was an event, so you made an effort to go to the event. This was not a situation where he was walking down the street and somebody didn't know who he was. It wasn't that kind of event. This was the events you always see where people show up and they stand up there and go, Charlie, I'm an atheist and I believe this, this, and this. And then Charlie fires back, or I believe in trans right. And Charlie fires, I guess that's kind of a poor use of words. But been shot in the neck. We're going to find out more. Ken's going to have the latest coming up here in a little bit. We got Sabiki Scott's going to join us here in a little bit. We're going to talk about some mental health stuff as well. He's running for re-election. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. Some other stuff because of he's played some baseball and stuff, and I believe he played in Venezuela. Get his take on Venezuela, because I have a feeling that we're about to get a little bit cozier with Venezuela, which I pray and hope we don't. But more on Charlie Kirk coming up here in a little bit. Once again, no word, at least right now, that I can see, but he was shot in the neck at an event in Utah. This is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
Two o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes, and multiple reports now confirm that conservative activist Charlie Kirk was shot during a Turning Point USA event at Utah Valley University. A university spokesperson says that a single shot was fired from a nearby building, striking Kirk. The reports are that Kirk was struck near the neck while speaking. His exact condition currently unknown. Fox News is reporting that Kirk is hospitalized. Also, we have confirmation from authorities that apparently, confirmation from the university that a suspect has been taken into custody. Stay with Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We'll get you the very latest on air and online. But again, Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk apparently shot in the neck at a speaking event in Utah. In our nation's capital, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says he's trying to force a vote in his chamber on the release of all of the Epstein files by attaching an amendment to a must-pass defense bill. We get more from ABC's Jay O'Brien on Capitol Hill.
Schumer's move here essentially guarantees that this amendment calling for the release of whatever Epstein records the government has in its possession will get a vote and will attempt to put Senate Republicans on the record as to where they stand on this issue. There's a similar effort ongoing in the House of Representatives trying to compel a release of the so-called Epstein files and get a vote on that as well.
Right now in Europe, Polish Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs Radosław Sikorski, speaking from NATO, or rather speaking after NATO, launched jets into Polish airspace against Russia drones.
Poland, the EU and NATO will not be intimidated, and we will continue to stand by the brave people of Ukraine. It's time for the leadership of Russia to understand that the attempt to rebuild Europe's lost empire is doomed to fail.
This morning is believed to be the first direct military engagement between a NATO member and Russia since the start of the war in Ukraine in 2022. Elsewhere over there,
in France, widespread protests are taking place. President Emmanuel Macron has just appointed his fourth prime minister in 12 months. The deficit is out of control, borrowing costs are rising, and Parliament cannot muster a majority to tackle spending. People are demonstrating all of it. They've been marching in the streets of Paris and across France. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
And then it came over.
Game over. We just looked at the video. I don't know if you saw, Ken. It looks like it hits him somewhere in the upper part of the chest. We slowed it down. You see his shirt kind of like blow up. But the one thing, and Scott Sabicki's in here, one of the things, because he and I were both watching the video of Charlie Kirk, who got shot in Utah a little while ago, is it doesn't look like it came from anywhere close by because everybody looks behind, and it's a massive crowd, like it came from far away.
That's correct. So hopefully he's okay, but looks like he got shot maybe above his left upper chest, above his pec, right in there.
Yeah.
Which is there's nowhere good to get shot.
No, but hopefully he'll be fine. So we'll see. We're monitoring everything.
And where he's speaking, it looks like it's kind of down in a bowl, if you will. There are buildings all around, so somebody could have been on a roof or something like that.
That's what you said. You said because it's one of those things where there was almost like a 2-story parking garage.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked like somebody could have been on that because it's a big crowd. It's a few thousand people. So this isn't one of those ones where you normally see them. There's just a couple hundred. It was a big crowd, and it's in Utah. So
in Utah,
we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen, and God bless him. We wish him the best. Pray for him, and we'll keep you guys updated. What's happening, Scott? Scott Speaky's in here.
I was listening on the way over. You were talking about mental health, and one of the things that we are working diligently on in the General Assembly for the next session coming up in January is how to address this issue of facilities, right? We got to have places for people that are struggling in life to be able to go to, inpatient.
Yes.
And so the Trump administration about 3 weeks ago released a grant proposal and a grant program for the states to be able to pull money down to help us build mental health facilities across our state. And so we're looking into that. We're waiting for the rules to be promulgated by the federal government on how to apply for it and how to use it and what it has to be. But, I think it was Ronald Reagan that when he was in office did away with all these facilities. And I get why,
well,
right?
The whole thought was, if I'm correct, Carter and they had come up with a plan where they were going to start to close these facilities, and they were supposed to set up, instead of having a state hospital, every small city was going to have their own. So it wasn't just one facility up in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
It was going to be, and it, like everything, just like when they went and Reagan's like, all right, we're going to do amnesty once, and then we're going to fix this problem. They never did.
Right.
And they didn't do anything with that. And,
Follow through.
Yeah. And look.
So one of the things that we're looking at is one, is this going to be a state or is it going to be a private-public partnership? Are we going to let the hospitals get involved with this? Are the hospitals going to be able to pull the money down to build these facilities? But we all realize, like we just saw today with Charlie Kirk, when you are willing to look down a barrel at another human being and squeeze the trigger, there's a mental health issue 100%.
Absolutely.
And so we've got to have places for these people that are not only a danger to themselves, they're a danger to society, like we saw in Charlotte.
Yep.
That individual should have never been on the street.
No.
Never. And I think on the criminal justice side, I know that the leader, Lamberth, and others are working on looking at how we do our magistrates and what are the qualifications for them and how do we make sure we have accountability of those magistrates that they understand what the law is and what their job is supposed to be.
Yeah. And we can't ask, and as you were listening, the largest mental health facility in America is the Twin Towers jail in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
You can't ask sheriff's department that have a few orderlies and 1 or 2 doctors throughout the day to treat hundreds and thousands of patients over the space of a week. That is too much for anybody.
That's
and
right.
we're relying on cops across the board to be mental health, to be marriage experts, to be, to look for child abuse, to do all of these things. It's impossible to do. And we're asking, we can't just say you may have schizophrenia, but there's no room at the inn.
Right. One of the things we have to look at, and if you go back to when Reagan and Carter were doing this, we all know of the atrocities that were happening in these facilities.
Yeah, that's the other side of it.
But now everybody has a camera. And so there's more transparency involved there. So I think we can get to a place where we build these facilities that has people that maybe we can salvage a life. Maybe we can get a life turned around and get them through their problem to get them back integrated into society. And then there's those individuals that unfortunately just probably have to spend the rest of their lives being cared for.
And talking to Scott Speaker, he's in here. He's running for re-election, but we've got a lot of stuff.
No, I'm not running for re-election yet.
Not yet. Not yet. I broke it, but not yet. But maybe. But probably. But the whole thing about some of these people, the drugs have gotten to the point where they're never going to. They're a danger to themselves. Some of these people, they've got mental health problems, and you can work through it, and it will take some time. And nobody should be living on the streets, urinating in the corner, talking to a tree, sleeping in frozen, underneath 12 blankets or, outside and sleeping with no shirt on because it's 120 degrees outside. That is not a way for, if we care about humans, that's not a way for a human to live their life.
That's correct. There's a program that we look at in Tennessee. It's continuum of care. It's wraparound services for those that can't help themselves. And one of the things I ran a bill this year, Chad, is to try to figure out how are we doing it and are we doing it well?
Yeah.
And we're waiting for that to come back in January. We'll get a report on that, and then we can kind of look at, okay, what do we need to do to fix this problem? It's not just Nashville. It's all over the state of Tennessee. It's all over our country that we have these group of individuals that are kind of like in the shadows.
They're fringe. They're fringe. They almost don't exist.
And you drive by them, and you try not to look. But these are individuals that maybe through some help, maybe through some drugs and getting them on the right prescriptions, that we could maybe start to salvage some of these lives and get them reintegrated back into society to live normal lives, right? But once again, there's those individuals that have crossed over the line that are just going to be harmful to themselves and harmful to society, that we have to make sure that we can keep tabs on them in a safe facility.
Yeah, I mean, this guy in North Carolina, he thought that his sister was controlling him, and then he thought that girl was controlling. She still thinks she's controlling. He's controlling. He's not there.
No.
And his mother knew that. His brother begged them to keep him in there. And we do have to do a better job, like you said, with the magistrates, because I don't think, we was talking earlier, most people don't know. 32 states, you don't have to have a law degree.
Correct.
By the way, to be in the Supreme Court, you don't have to have a law degree.
Correct.
You also don't even need to be a citizen. Most people don't even know that.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got to do a better job. Now, we don't have that. Obviously, you've gone to Harvard. Very few people go anywhere but Harvard or Yale or somewhere like that for law anymore. But we need to do a better job at the local level. And because we have magistrates, it's just an easy way to have the conveyor belt, because that's what it is in a lot of occasions.
Well, you have to figure out a way from the sheer volume, right?
Yeah.
Why do you have the sheer volume? And I can transition to give you, Chad, about 2 hours on education, on why these people coming through the system are lacking education. People who have education normally don't wind up in the system because they have other alternatives besides crime. And the ones that are well-educated that wind up in the system are usually doing something to try to cheat the system, and they get caught.
Yeah.
Bernie Madoff, for example, right? Brilliant individual, tried to cheat the system and eventually got caught. So a lot of challenges we have to look forward to, unfortunately, that we have to figure these out. And it has to be sooner than later because, the hardest thing about watching the Charlotte thing was the lack of response. What has happened to our society? This young lady, and nobody helped her.
It's a weird thing because there are several people on there because, it's a train, so they're looking in another direction. They have their headphones on. They're oblivious to the world, by the way. And they got up and they walked out. They never knew anything happened. But there were other people that just looked to put their head down.
Yes.
And that, to me, first of all, you weren't worried about yourself. Like, if I don't look, it doesn't exist. Right. I was fascinated by it. It's a sad statement in the world we live in where, yes, I can understand there would be some fear, but you know what? You got to overcome that. And you got a woman there that it's bleeding to death who didn't do anything, escaped the hell of what's going on in her country, and nobody did a thing. A woman sitting next to her didn't even move.
You watched the video, and maybe it's a question. I think there's a lady in red, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Did nothing.
She's sitting right
next to her.
Yeah.
And I think she was sitting at an angle facing her. So she saw the man get up and do something, and then the lady, and when she slumps over in the chair, what happened to human compassion to go up and say, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
And maybe could have saved that lady's life.
Yeah, because a lot of people think that, if I could have seen that, I could. You couldn't, because it was
fast.
It was so fast. It was the kind of thing you'd see on like The Wire inside a prison. But you could have been there to try to get the guy away and to stop the bleeding. And when you watch it, it is horrible because she looks up and the sheer terror and the shock. And then, just like in the movies, within seconds, the blood's already, and then she's down and she's starting to move. And people can't be bothered.
Nothing.
Well, just like when that guy lit that girl on fire in the New York subway. People just walked by like that's a normal thing.
That's one, and I will argue this, one of the biggest problems we have in our lives is this thing right here in my hands, this cell phone, because you bury your head in it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Try a day, challenge it, right? Take a day where you put the cell phone down. In the old days, right? when I drove to work, you had to wait till I got to work to talk to me, right? Just take a day where you just leave your cell phone at home and live a day without it and try to engage people and say hello.
Yeah, I would
just say hello. I'll tell you what, we ran the recess bill. We ran the cell phone ban
which
bill.
I love, by the way.
Incredible results in our schools. Kids are talking to each other again. Incredible.
Do you remember the first school that did that was in Florida? And they were like, you know what's weird is kids are nicer. They're talking to each other. They're engaging. They've got more smiles on their face. The anxiety's gone down. It is
human interaction.
I walk home, as I do most days, go through the roundabout. I will pass 10 to 15 young men and women who are leaving Vanderbilt, running by, working out. Not one person will say hi, and nobody will look up. The only people that ever say hi are the tourists who usually look completely lost.
And they're looking for help.
Yeah. Or they'll just, hey, how's it going? Because they're just excited to be here.
Correct.
And I'm like, when did we get to that point we can't even engage each other, Scott?
We have an event down in Murray County called First Fridays. It's on the square in Columbia. And it has transformed our community where you go down there on a Friday, all the businesses are open, all the vendors come down there. And what it is, it's people just walking around saying hello to their neighbors. If it was a snapshot of what life used to be in small communities where people come up and say, hey, Chad, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a while, right? And just have a conversation.
Oh, that's so weird.
It is incredible to watch, and we need more of that in our lives, more interaction with people, more eye contact with people, talking to people. I tell my boys all the time, I said, those in your generation that can learn to speak publicly will control everything.
Well, you'll have a good shot if AI doesn't take everything away from you.
Yes. Venezuela,
we're going to talk about that coming up in a little bit because I'm curious to get your take because you were there in the chaos, and I think Venezuela is next up when it comes to what we're doing there. I mean, now we have the Department of War, and they've got 4,000 Marines off the coast.
Yes.
And by the way, if you guys hear this is about drugs, it's about all the natural resources. There's plenty of them there, as you know.
I'll go down the list for you.
Yeah, and there's plenty of them there. And in fact, there is one of the generals was talking about how important this region is because of, you got the triangle of this when it comes to this natural resources, and you've got all this oil, and Guyana's got all this. It's
But if you had a strong ally there,
yeah,
it could be really good for South America.
It could be.
Be really good.
It could be really good. But, we've also stomped around there for how many years, and things have not really.
58.
Let's be
I'm 59.
Real. You and I know this. We haven't set the bar really high when we've gone in there and tried to do some things, and things fell apart a little bit. We're like, ooh, that didn't go well. Our CIA, you guys know who you are. Scott Spicky's here. We're going to talk about it. He's not running for re-election, but maybe, kind of, but sort of. Maybe it broke some, didn't mean to, but could have been, whatever. We know he is. We're going to talk to him about Venezuela coming up, and we're going to let you guys know. And you guys are texting it. Charlie Kirk has been shot. The neck, the chest, we're not quite sure. Now there's a lot of videos out there, and it definitely looks like it's coming from, and I don't know, you've seen any of the videos, Ken, besides that one? It looks like it's coming from further away. It wasn't somebody who walked up to him.
Right. It's coming from further away, and again, he appears to be in some sort of courtyard in between a number of buildings, and there are all kinds of places on top of these buildings where somebody could be.
Yeah.
And that appears to be where the shot may have come from.
Yeah. So it's a nightmare. We'll keep you guys abreast of everything as it comes in. Ken will have the latest for all of that. Scott Spicky's in studio with us. We'll get back to him. We got a lot of stuff still to talk about. Chad Bench Show, Super Talk 99.7. Relief Factor. I've been using it for quite a while. So I work out a lot, try to get fit. I took way too much time off. And I thought I got to get back at it. I've been taking my Relief Factor. Lift weights, I run, play pickleball. This stuff is awesome. And you can take it all the time. It's not addictive. It's all natural. And when it comes to things like your muscles, right? Because one of the reasons you can stay fit is your muscles don't hurt. You can work out a little bit more. This helps you with that. Omega-3 fatty acids, resveratrol, a bunch of other stuff I can't pronounce, all in there. And it really helps with inflammation. So I want you to try this. It's not addictive. 3-week quick start, $19.95. So less than a cup of coffee. Experience difference for yourself. Head to relieffactor.com. You will love it. It's a natural way to support your body's comfort, keep yourself moving, especially as you get older. As you all know, sometimes you take a nap, you wake up, you're like, why am I so sore? This is going to help with that. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 800, the number 4, RELIEF.
Conservative activist Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk is in the hospital with a gunshot wound. We'll tell you everything we know coming up at 2:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Scott Sabicki here with us. We're keeping you guys abreast on what's going on with Charlie Kirk, who's been shot in Utah at an event. And Ken's got all the breaking news. Somebody just texted in. They said they want to thank you, Scott, for being actively involved in the community. And they've seen you out there at First Fridays in Murray County and, shaking everybody's hands, saying hi, which is what it's. You know what made me smile a couple weeks ago? We were in Walmart for something, and they're trying to sell phones. And I said to the lady, I said, what's your most popular phone? And she goes, oddly enough, for kids, like the 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds, she goes, flip phones. These kids are all coming in, and they're buying phones where they're not connected to the internet. They can still kind of text to each other, but there's not the pressure.
Yes.
Which is huge. Massive.
That's it. That's what we need to go back to.
Yeah.
Where my phone is for communicating with somebody, period. That's it.
It's not a phone.
And then talk to people. Just talk to people.
Tomorrow we're going to have Afton on, and because I'll have anybody on.
Bell's girlfriend.
Yeah. Bell loves her.
Here he comes.
Yeah.
Wake up, Bell.
Yeah, Bell. I wonder who he's voting for. Like, I love you so much. I would totally vote for you.
Would you stop it? Everybody knows I'm an AOC guy.
Yeah, well, everybody, yeah.
Oh,
Except for you got a shot with Afton, said nobody. Having a conversation, man. That right there in politics, we don't do that. We're even with the thing that's going on in North Carolina, my frustration is stop being about her and who could take the craziest wild. Who could they protect and blame? Who could they, say this is about this? And you, like you said, you're a policy guy. I love I want to find a solution.
Well, that is the job that I have in the General Assembly is solutions. Find a problem, fix it, and then move on to the next problem. And eventually you run out of problems to fix. And that's the goal.
Wasn't that the goal?
That's the goal.
That's
and then
what
we
I
all
love.
live together under the umbrella of the Constitution, and it's protecting everybody, and everybody lives a good life, and we try to excel to be the best we possibly can. That's it. That's why we have such a vested interest in trying to get Memphis back online.
Yeah.
It's killing us right now. It's killing people down in Memphis.
It's
and I have a vested. My son goes to the University of Memphis.
There's a perfect example. Like everybody's, Trump will come out and say it's like, and DC's more dangerous than Iraq. Well, that's not true. Come on. Nobody be walking down. It's the most dangerous city in America. It's not. Memphis is way more dangerous. And because of politics, because Lee hasn't asked him or whatever. But Memphis is a perfect example. It's a blue city that's been run into the ground. And there needs to be a fix. And they need to be honest. But honesty and polish today, they don't mix the way it used to.
Well, it's Memphis being run into the ground is not a true representation. It was run into the ground, put up on blocks, and the tires were taken.
That's right.
Right?
It's not quite Detroit, but it's getting there.
I mean, they've stripped it down pretty bad. But I'm a big 10th Amendment guy.
Yeah.
And we've got to be careful sending federal troops in the city. Now, Washington, I get.
Well, that's because it's a federal.
That's right. But in our cities, the governor should have to ask for federal assistance, and then the federal assistance can come. And by the way, you want law enforcement doing law enforcement, right? You don't want the military doing law enforcement. The military can provide logistics and security, right? They can help in the jails, right? They can help in logistics, traffic, things like that. But you want law enforcement going into these areas where you want to put a bigger presence in to get like an Orange Mound, right? I want Memphis PD in there because they don't have to be in Bartlett or Collierville or Germantown because the military's out there just making sure everything's okay.
And if you need a surge, we've got TBI. You can get other
FBI.
People. You want, and I keep telling everybody this, the beauty of our Constitution is because we have the states' rights, we have these things. There is that separation. Mm-hmm. We don't want troops out there, partially because it's for show more than it is anything else in a lot of ways. And the second thing is they're not police.
No.
Police, they do a different job. You're in the military. You're there to smash and attack. You're there for police. You're there to police. It's a much different situation.
It's different, and you have to have the different nuances of how to talk to the public, right? The military is a blunt object. It's made to go in to just oppress and get control, period. End of the story. That's their job. That's what they're trained to do. The police force is, okay, protect and serve.
Yeah.
And that's a different type of job. And now, if the governor says, hey, it's reached a point where we need help, That's the governor's purview, and that's the governor's decision. But until then, the governor could take the Tennessee National Guard at his purview and send it down to Memphis to provide logistical support to Memphis PD. Or he could send the THP down there, or he could send State Homeland Security down there, or TBI. There's a lot of levers we can pull.
They could even bring in TEA. They can bring in the ATF. They've done that. New Mexico, Michelle Lujan, she got a call from 2 cities that had become just a danger zone, and they said, we need the Guard. And she got the Guard and stuff to go in there to have a show of force, to bring in ATF and a bunch of other people because they asked her to.
But she sent the New Mexico National Guard.
Yeah, the New Mexico
under
National
her
Guard.
control.
Under her control, but it was one of those things where there was, like if Memphis really wanted to, and I continue to say this too, you're not going to fix the problem by voting in the same people that only come around every 2 years to get your vote and then say they'll fix the problem next time.
That's correct. To help you out there, over the last 2 years, I think we've added over 150 state troopers in Tennessee. We have the manpower, and woman power for that, but manpower, right? We have the manpower to be able to send more help to Memphis to get their situation under control. We have the ability to send law enforcement down there, more law enforcement to help out. And I think what's going to have to happen is Memphis is going to have to realize they've reached a tipping point where they got to ask for help. And we're willing to provide it. This isn't a Democrat-Republican issue. This is a public safety issue.
Absolutely. That's what it should be.
Because when a bad guy comes up to you, he doesn't ask you if you're a Democrat or Republican, right?
No.
He just robs you.
Yes.
Or does worse things like we saw on that train, right?
Yeah.
So
Scott Spicky's here. We've got a lot more to talk about. We can talk a little bit about Venezuela. We're going to keep you guys up to date. Ken's got the latest. If you guys haven't heard, Charlie Kirk has been shot in Utah. We don't know how bad it is. I mean, a lot of you are texting in, said, I've seen this, I've seen that. I don't know. And I do believe it looks like in a few of these videos they may have gotten the shooter already, but it is definitely a fluid situation. So we'll have the latest on that coming up straight ahead. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997.
.2:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. And checking traffic here, we've got a crash partially blocking the off-ramp 24 westbound to James Robertson Parkway over there on the East Loop. You're having to come to a complete stop going eastbound because of this crash. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Conservative activist and Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk is hospitalized with a gunshot wound. Kirk was speaking at an event at Utah Valley University. Eyewitness accounts and reports suggest Kirk was struck near the neck while he was speaking. His exact condition is currently unknown. According to the University Alert, a suspect has been taken into custody. Here's Aaron Katursky.
His presence there at the university had divided the campus, according to an article in the school paper, where there were people on both sides debating whether he should even be allowed to bring his message, often loyal to the agenda of President Trump, to campus. But he was speaking at this outdoor event in a courtyard. We've seen some video of that event. A shot rings out. The entire crowd goes scattering.
President Trump posting to Truth Social, quote, "We must all pray for Charlie Kirk, who has been shot. A great guy from top to bottom." And then in all caps, "God bless him." And a tweet from Vice President J.D. Vance saying that he's praying for Charlie Kirk, who he calls a genuinely good guy. Stay with Super Talk 99.7 WTN for updates online and on air. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says he's trying to force a vote to release all of the Epstein files in his chamber by attaching an amendment to a must-pass defense bill. This coincides with an effort from House lawmakers, namely Republican Thomas Massie of Kentucky, who are collecting signatures on what's called a discharge petition to force a vote on releasing all the files.
He can either flip now, in this case, one more of his Republican colleagues because of that special election in Virginia, or he could just wait until the end of the month when there's a special election in Arizona, too, and a Democrat is likely to pick up that seat as well. That district trends heavily Democrat, as that Virginia district does. And so if you have those two Democrats joining Congress by the end of the month and they sign on to that Epstein discharge petition, it would guarantee that Thomas Massie's initiative would also get a vote.
That's Jay O'Brien from Capitol Hill. And the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
My friends over at Beacon want to talk to you because they got a lot of stuff about that one big, beautiful bill. Very big, by the way. But there's some interesting stuff in there you can take advantage of. Now, a lot of these things, they have a sunset, so you got to make sure you do it quick. Beacon's going to help you with that. You can deduct up to $10,000 in car loan interest, but there's things around this, right? Certain restrictions, as well as the vehicle has to be assembled here. Above the line charitable deduction, $1,000 for individuals, $2,000 for couples. And this is the big one right here. So retirees. And this is one of the big things that it's incredible. It's temporary. It's going to expire in 2028. If you're 65 or older, you're eligible for an additional senior deduction of up to $6,000 with a phase out. Now, it's not a complete elimination, but take absolute advantage of this, all right, when it comes to your taxes on Social Security. These are limited, but they're powerful. Beacon knows it, and they're going to help you with that. Get a free personalized consultation. Visit beaconcm.com, beaconcm.com, or call 615-488-9303, 615-488-9303. This is a paid placement. We're going to talk to my buddies over at Bulwark Capital. You guys hear me talk about them all the time. They're doing a free live webinar. So my buddy Zach Abraham is great. Send my entire family there. Just crushing it this year, by the way. And they've got a Back to the Basics webinar. They're going to look at the fundamentals of value investing, perspectives, and the outlook of the rest of this year, what it is they do. And they're looking for opportunities, lower risk, lower cost, but they do it globally. And they do stuff that others just don't do. It is free. It is a webinar. It is 5:30 our time. It is October 2nd. So it's October 2nd. So you register absolutely free. Go to knowyourriskpodcast.com. That's knowyourriskpodcast.com. And they're going to show you what they're all about. You can also get a risk review when it comes to your portfolio. They'll go through it all for you. It doesn't cost you anything. Sign up today, October 2nd, 5:30, Back to Basics webinar with my friends at Bulwark Capital. Investment advisor, service officer, Trek Financial LLC, and SEC registered investment advisor. Investment involved risk, not a guarantee. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Trek 25298. Wow. We are monitoring everything. A lot of stuff coming in about Charlie Kirk. Shot, looks to be in the neck. A lot of people have, said he couldn't survive. Let's hope for a miracle. It is horrific. I don't care what your politics is. I don't care, how you, think I'm right about this, or the fact that people would think that this is an okay way to act is just insane. And we will keep you guys abreast throughout the day. Ken will have you updated, and when Matt comes in, I'm sure he's going to be covering this story as well. Scott Zabicki's here with us. We're talking about a lot of stuff. Before we get to the Venezuela thing, it's nerve-wracking, man. You're in the public's eye, and people nowadays, a lot of the hyperbole and the Reddit, they don't understand that a lot of it is show, and some of it, they take it way too serious and literal because a lot of it is kabuki theater. And then people do, stuff like this because you're not going there. This isn't a mugging somebody on the side of the road. You went there specifically for this, which is scary. Do you worry about that? I mean, you're ginormous, so I think it just bounce off you. But
I'm aware of where I am.
Yeah,
I'm aware of who's around me. I'm aware. I watch people very intently. I watch eyes. Eyes give away a lot of demeanor with people and intensity. And then I listen to tone of voice. I mean, I've had people screaming at me on the walking into the house, right, into the chamber, and I'll stop and I'll say, okay, you got me here. What's your issue? And they can't tell you.
No,
they're just so mad. And I'm like, okay, you've got somebody that can push the button, yes or no, right? What's your issue? And they can't. They just get so ginned up by people that they just lose their, and you've been around people where they're screaming at you and they've just lost their control. And we have to be, as elected officials, you have to be careful with your rhetoric. You just don't have carte blanche to go out there to get people ginned up, to get them ginned up.
Yeah.
You are supposed to be somebody that the people look to and hire to address the problems that they face on a day in and day out basis and come up with good, positive solutions. The solutions we have are never, well, this is a Democrat or Republican solution. It's supposed to be a solution for 7 million Tennesseans, that they can live their lives better. That is the job we have, doing things that allow people, sometimes not passing a law, right? And sometimes passing a law. And you have to have the discernment to know whether or not this is good for 7 million people, or you know what, we shouldn't be doing this. And say no. And convince enough of your colleagues to say, no, this is a bad idea. And this year in the General Assembly, I've never seen it happen more on the House floor than I saw this year, where members of the House were going, this is not, even though it's a Republican carrying it, it's not a good idea.
Yeah, which is, I applaud people that are willing to stand up and say, this isn't for the best. This is maybe the best for you, or this is going to get you the most likes and clicks, or maybe the right. certain amount of the base is going to cheer you on. But the reality is for the 7 million, right? This isn't a good idea. And to be able to stand up and say that, I think it's I think we need more people that are willing to be able to face the fact that sometimes you have to look at your own party and say, nah.
Well, we need more of that in Washington. We need less tribalism in Washington and more people looking at, 300-something million now? We need people looking at this saying, okay, like I hear them talk about all the time, China this, China that, right? Let me tell you something. You know who the biggest threat to the Republic is? Congress.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt.
30-something trillion and counting, right? You and I were alive when we heard the first 1 trillion, right? And we were shocked.
If we count in, and I don't think people understand this, we're probably closer to somewhere between 70 and 100 trillion when we count in unfunded liabilities.
Correct.
And which
it is unsustainable.
You can't.
And so you're going to have people that are willing to go to Washington and say, okay, I have to start looking at this long term. How is our country going to survive unless we start making some choices that unfortunately may get you unelected? But the job isn't to keep your job. The job is to do what's right. And if you do what's right and you err on the side of the people will keep you there.
I love the do what's right, because it takes people with courage to stand up and go, no, we're not going to do this. You can get rid of me, but this can't happen because, and my fear, and I think the founders' fear is in today's world, especially with all the redistricting and the gerrymandering, depends on what side you're on. The reality is the general doesn't even matter. It's and so you run, you only have to, you may only get 1/10 of what you may get at the general, but it doesn't matter. And because that's the most important.
My dad taught me a long time ago that one person's terrorist is another person's freedom fighter.
Yeah.
And you have to look at life like that, right? You have to look at the argument. I'll tell you this, and we got to talk about Venezuela, but 2 of the best votes I ever took in the General Assembly in 7 years was to say no to Ford and no to the Titans giving them money.
That's great.
They didn't need it.
No.
But we did. And that's okay. Hey, you know what? I took the vote. I lost. I move on to the next issue. You know, I tried to argue that, you know, giving a multinational corporation like Ford $1 billion and 20,000 acres in West Tennessee was a bad idea. They didn't need it. Well, I lost. And then on the Titans, they didn't need $500 million, but they got it. And hopefully it'll bear fruit to the 7 million people in Tennessee. You don't win them all.
No, you can't win them all. But
So-
you've got to be able to have the courage to stand up and go, what's right, what's not right. Scott Spicky's in here. We are monitoring what's going on with Charlie Kirk. They're saying now he was shot from a campus building 200 yards away.
Wow. That's somebody who knows how to shoot.
That's somebody, that's not, so somebody was from a campus building too, not so much, I don't know.
That would have been somebody who would have had access to the building to get to a window.
Yeah.
And knew the window was openable.
Yeah, unless they're counting, I don't know, because it's when you see it, there's a lot of people out in the quad where he was shot, and we're talking a few thousand. And in one of the situations to the right of everybody, there looks to be, it almost looks like a parking garage.
Correct.
But when they pan around to another area, you see a lot of people in the parking garage. So who knows exactly where it came from? But just like we talked about when we first saw it, is everybody turned behind them. So it wasn't somebody point blank, because usually you think, you see a lot of these
Up
things.
close.
Yeah, up close. So we'll keep you abreast throughout the day on what's going on with there and update that. You played baseball in Venezuela.
2 years, 92, 93.
How was that?
My nickname was El Toro. My first year down there, I almost won the Triple Crown. They had in the middle of the year, they had a ban go out that if anybody threw me a strike, they'd be fined, because I was about ready to break the home run record held by a Venezuelan. But when I was there, it was a democracy. It was very wealthy, oil, and I'll go down the list real quick here of what. And people always ask me all the time, why Venezuela, right? Well, here's the reason why: oil, petroleum derivatives, natural gas, gold, iron ore, bauxite, coal, diamonds, coffee, cocoa, sugar, fruits, vegetable, fibers, timber, and tourism.
Yeah.
That's what Venezuela can bring to the table economically.
And the big thing is, we've done this in the past. See Iran, when we got rid of back in the day when we got rid of their prime minister who wanted to pull away from the Shah, and he went and nationalized stuff. And of course, the Brits and us go, well, we can't have that, so we need some of that. So this is a situation. They look at Maduro. They've got the biggest oil reserves in the world. And then you've got Guyana next to it that found a massive oil reserve of light sweet crude, which is the super important one for a lot of people. And you've got all of these offshore drills who are ready to get in there. And now Venezuela's like, that might be ours. So when you hear all the stuff about, well, we're going to have to go in there because of drugs, understand there's a lot more to it than just that. So don't be fooled by it. But the people are wonderful. One of my good friends, Edgar Muller, he is a pilot for Evia Air. He's a great guy. Was born and raised in Venezuela. So is his wife. But he, after Maduro came in, it was subtle, but then eventually the tsunami was so big.
Oh, yeah.
And the way, because they don't come in and say, we're going to oppress everybody. Nobody does that.
No.
That doesn't win. But the way it changed and what happened.
So when I was down in Venezuela, it was the first coup attempt of Hugo Chavez that failed miserably. And the government came down extremely hard on those people, which probably even garnered him a little bit more support from the rural poverty regions. When Hugo Chavez got control of Venezuela, the first thing he did was promise everybody food.
Yeah.
Second thing he did was get their guns. And then he got control of the media. Once he got those three things, now you probably heard that before. I think it's called the Communist Manifesto.
Yes.
Once you get control of the food, the guns, and the media, and you keep the military fed, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely, got to keep
right. Keep the military paid and keep the military fed. That's what leads to what we've seen in Venezuela. Now, Venezuela used to be a country of 35 million people. It's down to 24 right now. That's how many people have either left or died in Venezuela since 2014. A mass exodus. And the problem with Venezuela is it's been a mass exodus of intellectual properties. People who were in colleges and universities, right? They left to seek a better alternative because they had the means to do it. The large oil companies down there, when Hugo Chavez took control, he seized all their assets.
Yep. He nationalized pretty much everything.
And so all these multinational corporations that invested billions and billions of dollars of oil infrastructure and mining infrastructure and timber infrastructure in one day were gone and offline. I remember when I was in Puerto La Cruz, which is on the eastern seaboard. That's who I played for, Puerto La Cruz. They were called the Caribes, the Indians. I remember a boulevard that wound down the beach, and I would see people out there with buckets of tile, and their job was to replace the tile. Everybody had work in Venezuela. And now the things that women are having to do with for their children is horrible.
Yeah. Their work nowadays is just surviving.
It's just surviving. Do you know that over 90% of the people of Venezuela suffer from malnutrition?
Malnutrition.
Venezuela, one of the most affluent countries in South America, is verging on a teetering of poverty and people dying in the streets from starvation.
It's about control.
Now, here's the question, right? And I've heard you speak, and how do we do this without putting our soldiers in the line of fire?
Well, you don't put 4,000 soldiers on a boat.
How do you do it? How do you bring enough economic pressure to a bunch of people that don't have the means to overthrow the government because the government keeps the military fed, right? I mean, it is a dilemma that we have to figure out, and hopefully common sense will come to play here, right? Economic sanctions. China and Russia are their main exporters right now. Okay, we've got to figure out a way to put a stranglehold on those two countries to cut the lifeline off to Venezuela, to where now they'll come to the table and start talking to us. Maduro's a communist.
Yeah, and
he's a drug lord too.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot more than I think we're going to eventually get involved. I mean, just the people I've talked to, my military friends say you're not putting 4,000 people. You're not moving these people this close. It's not because of Puerto Rico. You took out a boat that's 2,700 miles away from our shores. You're sending a message, and you're probably going to do something. A lot of it has to do with Guyana and stuff like that because they don't want them over there. Venezuela's like, we don't want you guys here. So it's going to be interesting, no doubt about that. Good having you here, brother. I love it. Enjoy
pleasure,
it. Love it, Scott.
Pray for Charlie Kirk.
Pray for Charlie Kirk. We're going to keep you up to date on what's going on. Ken's got the latest coming up, but Charlie Kirk was shot today in Utah at an event from about 200 yards away, and still no news on his...
He is in critical condition.
Critical condition. Okay, so that's what we know as of now. Chad Bench Show, Super Talk 997. It's all happening now. We got a kid shot at a school in Denver. And if you're just joining the show, Charlie Kirk has been shot. He is in critical condition. I know there are other places out there reporting that he has passed. We do not know that, and we care about the truth. It's about being right in a situation like this. So we're going to be watching this all day. Probably not what you thought, Matt, was going to happen when you got in here.
No, and it's one of those situations where if you've seen some of the video, everything's videoed now.
Yeah.
Everybody's got, video recording devices right there in their pockets, and everybody becomes a videographer. And at any given moment when you have a crowd gathered like at Ohio Valley to hear Charlie Kirk speak and to speak back to Charlie Kirk, that's what it was all about. It was a free speech event, right? And there's going to be someone videoing at a variety of angles, and we're seeing a lot of that filter out to the internet. And
it's a tough watch.
It's a tough watch, and it is tough to contemplate how someone survives that. And
because when you really, this wasn't a 22 from, this
no,
was
it was a long-range rifle
and,
of some sort.
It is a very tough watch. And, some people have been texting, and I will say this. The internet and social media is always disappointing, and the things that people are saying are awful. The fact that we would celebrate anybody being injured and or potentially getting killed because you don't like their politics and you think they peddle in hate when they just disagree and have their own beliefs is asinine and stupid. And if that's the way you feel, you need help.
You do. I'm being told that our colleague Chris Hand, who is a part of the Turning Point Orbit, an organization started by Charlie, is saying to me that Charlie's wife and children were there.
Yeah, that's
at the event. And if someone can go online and act as if this should be a moment of celebration when you realize that a human being potentially has been killed and certainly has been gravely wounded in front of his wife and kids for speaking, for enjoying a basic premise of this country.
And giving you the opportunity to enjoy that premise as well and celebrate that by having a discussion.
I was looking at my Twitter after all this news came out, and I literally saw somebody post that, now this is a school shooting that I can agree with.
It's disgusting. It's, and here's the thing. I find that person to be disgusting and repugnant and gross and irresponsible and nasty and vile and subhuman. And I would still defend that in this country, they can say whatever they want to say. You can be as gross a person as you want to be. That's the point, is that we do not allow thoughts, beliefs, and speech to translate into violence, or at least that's the country we want to be in.
I mean, this is the beauty of the First Amendment.
That's right.
It's being able to open it up and let the steam out and let people have their voice. Because when you don't have that, well, then that's when the Second Amendment gets crazy. And we've got to have the First Amendment. You got to be able to disagree with people in a way that is humane. Matt's coming up next. He's going to have all the coverage. So is our man Ken in there. God bless Charlie. Prayers for him, and we'll do it again tomorrow.